House resumes. This concludes the debate on the supplementary estimates. The supplementary estimate shall now be referred to the Committee of the Whole House. House is in committee. Now, members, I have a serious challenge with the lighting, so I am wondering whether I cannot do it from the, since it seems to be the same. The lighting, I don't know that it's, I don't think it's, The supplementary estimates have passed through the Committee of Supply without amendments. The question is that the supplementary estimates for $82,851,808.96 be approved. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Supplementary Appropriation 2016-2017 Act 2018 be read the first time.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Supplementary Appropriation 2016-2017 Act 2018.
Madam Speaker, I move that the second reading of the bill shortly entitled Supplementary Appropriation 2016-2017 Act 2018.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Supplementary Appropriation 2016-2017 Act 2018.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
Just 1 minute. You have to go to the committee now with that? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Okay. Okay, what you said? Because they were second, but I said that the second. Oh, okay. Well, no, he doesn't. They have to do that. No. Just no, something is wrong there. Nah. I have to do the beat. It has been moved and seconded that the bill shortly entitled the Supplementary Appropriations 2016-2017 Act of 2018 be read a second time. Those in favor? Those against, the ayes have it.
We have to go to the act and to have it approved clause by clause.
Right, that's what I'm following. The script is wrong. That is what I'm saying. Yes, we should go to the committee.
Follow this.
Yes. Okay, so
The truth is, Madam Speaker, it should not be taken to the Committee of Supply after the motion has been debated. You should have moved straight to the process required for the enactment of the act, or the bill, sorry. And so the Committee of Supplies really should have looked at what is in there. The schedule really is just an attachment to the motion. But the bill, we don't.
You see, as if I.
So we have to now go to the committee.
Yes.
To go for the bill clause by clause.
Yes.
And then after that, we come back for the third reading.
To do the third reading. Yes, that is what I should be saying. Even if you didn't read you didn't have a debate, we still have to go to the committee. Right. Right. The bill will now be taken to the committee of the whole house to be considered clause by clause. That's what I was following the script. I'm saying the script is wrong. In 2017 Act of 2018 passed the committee stage without amendment. The question is that the report on the committee on the bill be adopted. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. No.
Madam Speaker, I move that the bill shortly entitled Supplementary Appropriation 2016-2017 Act 2018 be read a third time and passed accordingly.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the bill shortly entitled the Supplementary Appropriations 2016-2017 Act of 2018 be read a third time and passed.
Supplementary Appropriation 2016-2017 Act 2018.
The bill has been read a third time and passed accordingly.
Ready for me, Jim? Madam Speaker, be it resolved that this Honorable House approves the supplementary estimates of expenditure for the year ending 2017-2018 amounting to $85,344,200 $221.60, the details of which are contained in the attached schedule. Madam Speaker, the supplementary estimates is a total of $85,344,221.60 and includes advances made from the contingency fund for the period July 2017 to December 2017. The provision for this is in Section 80 of the Commonwealth of Dominica Order 1978, as well as in Section 12 of the Finance Administration Act number 4, 1994. And that allows the government the flexibility of incurring expenditure not originally approved in the annual budget, where it is deemed necessary, and subsequently seeking approval of the Parliament for such spending. Details of the expenditure are as follows. 47% of $40,004,075 was met through grant funding. 31% or $522,746 was funded by local resources, while 22% or $18,817,400 was financed by loan funds. Madam Speaker, I will outline the details of the expenditure, but suffice to say that a substantial part of this has been occasioned by the passage of Hurricane Maria and the need for government to respond quickly to the needs of the citizens. Hurricane Maria affected the lives of all our citizens. Its effect was unprecedented and left many persons homeless, jobless, and without the basic need like food and water. As a government, it is our mandate that we meet the needs of our people at a time when they are unable to do so themselves. Madam Speaker, recognition must be given to our many friends, families, and sister countries, organizations, and development partners from the local, regional, and international communities who immediately come to our assistance in the aftermath of the disaster, with donations of relief supplies and cash contributions. In the case of cash contributions, the budgetary provision had to be made so that the funds could be spent. Madam Speaker, the appropriation in respect of the Office of the President was $52,974 to meet expenses related to replacement of the current surveillance system at the State House and grounds with a more efficient system of optimum capacity and performance. The Ministry of Trade and Employment and Energy received an amount of $5,034,843. Of this sum, $4,688,217 was required for the procurement of relief supplies post-Hurricane Maria in order to meet the immediate and short-term needs of the populace. Madam Speaker, an amount of $346,626 represented cash contributions from the United Nations Development Program to facilitate the implementation of a Cash for Work program. We recognize the importance of having some form of disposable income during a time such as this. And so, with the assistance of the UNDP, we have introduced this program, which allows some of our more vulnerable citizens to earn a small income, while at the same time helping in the clearing and rebuilding efforts. Madam Speaker, in respect to the Office of the Prime Minister, the sum of $161,500 was appropriated to meet expenses related to the purchase of a vehicle to replace one which was damaged during the passage of the hurricane. Madam Speaker, just before we got hit by the devastating hurricane, this government made available an amount of $2,402,482 for the purpose of assisting 4 countries which were affected by Hurricane Irma. St. Kitts, $500,000, St. Thomas, $200,000, Cuba, $250,000 US, that is, Madam Speaker, Antigua and Barbuda, $250,000 US. We are pleased that we had the opportunity to assist in some way in the recovery and reconstruction efforts of these countries. Madam Speaker, Additional budgetary provision in the sum of $19,697,369 was approved in respect to the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. The government of Dominica remains committed to restoring the rural livelihood and achieving adequate levels of food security following the widespread devastation as a result of Hurricane Maria. Through a financing facility from the World Bank and under the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Program, the sum of $18,817,400 was approved to provide farmers and fishers with an immediate stimulus grant as a means to buffer the short-term loss of income and to facilitate recovery efforts in the agricultural sector. Madam Speaker, an amount of $31,470 was also approved for the Ministry of Agriculture. These funds came from the Government of Canada and were donated to meet the commitment under the Project for the Protection of Regional Opportunities for Produce through the enterprise and linkage. Further to the above, the sum of $820,300 was required to meet payments in respect of the contract between the Government of Dominica and the Organization de Servicio Guernzales, or OSG, for the construction of the National Abattoir, while the sum of $28,155 was approved to settle an outstanding matter of compensation to Mrs. Yvonne Baron George during her secondment to the Waitikubuli National Trail Project. Madam Speaker, in respect of the Ministry of Housing, Lands and Water Resource Management, the additional amount approved is $5,189,270. These funds were meant for the acquiring equipment to augment the emergency response capabilities of the Dominica Water and Sewage Company, the WASCO, in order to improve the pace at which potable water is made available to the various communities. Madam Speaker, the government has followed up on its promise to provide assistance to 18 families of Silver Lake community who were left homeless by a fire which destroyed their dwelling in December 2016. The government has been providing assistance to the sum of $1,917,743. That was approved for the Ministry of Social Services for this purpose. Madam Speaker, the sum approved for the Ministry of Health and Environment is $1,804,740. Following the passage of Hurricane Maria, medical wards and facilities had to be renovated. The sum of $1,143,533 was approved for the intervention to facilitate the resumption of health services at the Princess Margaret Hospital. In addition to this, Madam Speaker, an amount of $185,127 was approved to provide emergency vector control services in an effort to stem the outbreak of disease and hence safeguard the health of our citizens. Madam Speaker, we are pleased to report that there has been no major outbreak of disease in Dominica following the passage of Hurricane Maria. The Ministry of Health was allocated the sum of $476,080 to meet contractual payments to persons engaged under the School Vision and BMI assessment. I can see clearly now, the I project, to meet emoluments for the period of June to October 2017. Madam Speaker, under the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal, the additional allocation of $1,579,592 was approved for the enhancement of a number of key areas to accommodate resumption of tourist arrival. For the 2017-2018 fiscal year, a number of projects were identified for rehabilitation in preparation for the next cruise season, to include upgrade of People's Park, rehabilitation of the Roseau Bayfront, rehabilitation of the old market and vending areas. These areas were further destroyed by Hurricane Maria, and rehabilitation works were deemed a matter of urgency. Madam Speaker, the sum of $47,204 was approved on behalf of the Ministry of Cardinago Affairs. Of this, $30,000 was to provide for accommodation for the office, while $17,204 was for the purpose of constructing a dwelling house for a senior citizen of the Cardinago territory. The funds for this initiative was donated by the Honorary Council of Martinique. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Public Works received additional budget of $47,361,525. Madam Speaker, in September 2017, government made a loan of $13,584,500 available to the Dominica Air and Seaport, DASPA. This was approved to assist in meeting payments for infrastructural works done at the Cambridge cruise ship berth and at the Longhouse port. We consider that these works were timely and contributed to the fact that the ports were better able to withstand the wrath of Hurricane Maria. Madam Speaker, following the Hurricane Maria, there was an urgent need to replace certain bridges which had been seriously compromised to ensure the safety of the traveling public and to facilitate movement of persons. In light of this, the sum of $12,995,626 was allocated to meet contractual payments for the supply and installation of 9 Bailey bridges at various critical locations to include Castle Comfort, Lubia, Pichelin, Geneva, La Plaine, that is Sari, La Plaine, Tabara River, Buetica, Dalis White River, and Roseau, Isilo Black Bridge. Madam Speaker, extensive cleanup of debris. What? Madam Speaker, extensive cleanup of debris, clearing of roads and drains, and dredging of rivers were mandatory following the recent hurricane. And as such, a contract was awarded to a firm of Infrastructure Service Limited in the sum of $20,781,399 to facilitate that process. Finally, Madam Speaker, in respect to Cabinet Office, the amount of $72,670 and $22,300 respectively were approved for the following: to meet expenses for the official funeral in favor of 4 former parliamentarians, Enian Ducre, Bernard Eger Carbon, R. Stanley Fidel, and Ronald O.P. Amo, and to meet expenses related to the visit of Prince of Wales to the Commonwealth of Dominica on the 19th of November 2017. Madam Speaker, with this said, I now recommend for approval of the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Dominica the supplementary estimates amounting to $85,344,221.60.
The bill is now before the motion is now before the House for debate.
Madam Speaker, I rise to give total support to the supplementary appropriation for the period July 2017 to December 2017 of this current fiscal period. As you recall, Madam Speaker, we have been spending quite a bit of money in preparation for events, unlike what we expected during the last period, but we had to do it. For example, the amount of $14.6 million was loaned to the Dominica Air and Seaports Authority to meet payment for the infrastructure for the Woodridge Bay, Longhouse, and Cambridge cruise ship berth as follows. In the Woodridge Bay area, we had to repair the jetty support system, for example, the metal piles, repair of the reinforced concrete structure, installation of new fenders. In the Cambridge port, maintenance of the substruction of the fenders, repair to the bollard bases, and repair of main supporting feature beams. And of course, in the Longhouse slab surface, including drainage and bollards. Now, if we hadn't done that and repaired the beams, purchased and installed the new fender system, and currently overlay the entire deck of what will be the necessary wharf repairs, we would have suffered tremendously in the last period. Of course, we immunized these port structures to withstand what we experienced with Hurricane Maria. Following the passage of Hurricane Maria, we had to do quite a bit of work with our rivers and dredging. And this had to be done, unlike the days when we would be reminded that it was also very, very difficult to extract from the rivers. No longer has Dominica been faced with that sort of legacy anymore. We have to make sure we dredge every single river in this country. Ravines, rivers, you name it what you want. Because, Madam Speaker, we have been struck a serious blow by Maria. And if you'll notice, what has happened here is a lot of our rivers, a lot of our ravines, there's been quite a bit of siltation, and that has caused the water table, if you wish, as a result of the bed to be built. And our little bridges, which have been compromised over many, many years, they are there waiting patiently, sadly, to be blasted if this government didn't take it seriously and invest heavily in the infrastructure company in terms of dredging of our rivers. Madam Speaker, a significant sum of 20,781,399.00 was invested in terms of dredging, and we plan to continue with that dredging post-Maria. We have done very, very well. We have seen the Queens River, the Roseau River dredged completely. Never in its history, in its life, have we seen it so clean. Never. And I was raised along the borders of the Queens River, and I can tell you this is a very serious river. It's not a river that's a joke at all. Sadly, Madam Speaker, it drains into the city of Roseau, which is a great asset really to have a river flowing for your capital city. But we saw what happened last time to us in terms of the river overflowing its banks and creating a tremendous amount of damage to our river, our city. We do not want this to happen again. We have decided to go way up the Queens River, past the, to the Silver Lake area and dredge it properly, and also do some river training, which is taking place right now. And Madam Speaker, the aim is to go much further with it to protect our city. So this amount of money that was invested here was of great importance to us. And Madam Speaker, we don't have the necessary and the amount of equipment that's required for dredging all the rivers in Dominica. It's impossible. We don't have the machinery here. A lot of our machines are tired, they're burnt out. And a couple of days in the river, Madam Speaker, they succumb to a malfunction. It's a problem for us. So I was very happy that we were able to bring in a company here with a fleet of equipment to go in there and really dredge these rivers. We have done some work in the other areas as well too. They're working there. And we're now in the Pishla area. We have gone to the Honorable Member for the Mao constituency. We have gone through a number of his rivers there, and I want to assure him that we'll take it much further than where we are right now. We are in Polyho. And I know a lot of us here, we are impatient, but rightly so, I agree with you. But let's hold up a little bit. We're trying to bring in more equipment into Dominica so we can dredge a lot more, because what we experienced last time, and these events, Madam Speaker, they have a habit of, we can't hold it to that, but they like to come every 30-something years. I'm hoping, Madam Speaker, that this year, based on the predictions, that nature will prove them wrong this time, because there's no way I can see this country going for another Maria or something greater than that. It will really be brought to our knees. So, Madam Speaker, I want to make it abundantly clear here that we have invested heavily in this country. We'll continue to invest heavily. We have been struggling here with the amount of work we have to do on this island. It's the first time in our life we were on a serious path of development, very, very serious path of development. But we were struck a major blow. And that has caused us to sort of step back a bit to take care of the existing damage of Maria and still do what we have to do. But with the grace of God and with the strength of this government, Madam Speaker, we will prevail and we will fix this country as we continue to fix it. Now, the agriculture. There's a significant amount of money here for agriculture. And I must say, we have listened to the criticism coming from the opposition forces against the World Bank project and the disbursements we had to do in terms of providing some rapid funds to the farmers. Sad but true, this government was blamed for something that it is not responsible for, and it was very painful. Why I say it was painful, I can recall going up one day driving through the Roseau Valley and listening to the opposition program on a radio station. And I listened to the government being accused of something it had no part of at all. I tried my best to find the number, to call the radio station, to clear the light on it, because your operatives were so wrong, it was painful to listen to them. Very painful. Very, very painful for me to listen to that. I can recall at the cabinet level, when our Prime Minister decided that he doesn't want this list to come to Cabinet, this is fact. Because we want no business in it. You know why? Because we knew that was what was going to happen. And of course, we were blamed for it. We were blamed for the UNICEF money. We had nothing to do with that, gentlemen. So I want to make sure that the nation listens to me tonight and understand that the government of Dominica, through the World Bank, provided relief assistance in a rapid manner to our farmers with no interference whatsoever. My farmers in Mount Prosper, a lot of them, they don't support the government, though they're very lovely these days. They receive their monies in full force with no interference whatsoever. If it were a political program, and I would never do that. One thing about this government we must understand, when all programs, but in particular, when it comes to health, education, and agriculture, we don't play politics with that. So whenever you hear your operatives on the radio stations trying to, kind of twist the government program, you must correct them sometimes, gentlemen. And I see the member for Salisbury realizing that's fact, and he's going to take it back to his farmers. I agree with you on that one. But, Madam Speaker, I wanted to shed some light on that because I was deep in this one, and I wanted to clear the air on that one because we have been blamed for it, and we are very innocent about this one. All we are trying to do is to help our farmers, and we have to be careful about what we say out there because there's a new project coming for $25 million for agriculture. Our new Minister of Agriculture will be implementing that project, and I can assure the farmers of Dominica, unlike what the member for the Russell North constituency has been talking about this morning, that we're not putting money in agriculture. There's a lot of money coming in agriculture, and the Honorable Austria is going to implement a huge project where all your farmers, and maybe even you too, can benefit from it so we can raise the level of agriculture in Dominica. Yeah. Yeah. Now, Madam Speaker, I don't have much to say today because I want us to continue this debate in terms of that. But just to make sure we understand that we have a new vision in this government, and we'll continue with that new vision in terms of how we tackle Dominica and how we tackle the roadways. I asked every single Dominican, our constituents, and all the 21 constituencies to be patient as we unfold a new program for the road development of this country. We have been struck a blow. It is very, very challenging, but we will definitely fix this country. And Madam Speaker, with these few words, I want to say that I support the supplementary appropriation, and I'll allow some time for some of the other members to debate on it. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, like my colleague, the Honourable Minister for Public Works, I too want to pledge my full support behind this supplementary appropriation post-Hurricane Maria. Madam Speaker, we all recall the events of Hurricane Maria and the devastating impact it had on every single Dominican. And I will not wish at this time to rehash the events, Madam Speaker, but I would speak specifically to a few areas in the supplementary appropriation that I think we should really give mention to, make mention of, Madam Speaker. And the first one, Madam Speaker, is a cash for work program which received an amount of $346,000 with funds from the UNDP, United Nations Development Fund, Madam Speaker. And the reason why I mention this program, Madam Speaker, is because a number of individuals throughout our various communities across the country, they were engaged in this program. And basically what this program entailed was the cleanup of the country, where we saw our young men and women getting themselves engaged in ensuring that post-Hurricane Maria, their communities could be kept clean. And I can speak quite clearly to what occurred in my constituency. Because I can tell you, Madam Speaker, a number of young people from the communities of Layu and Miro were engaged on this program. And we focus primarily on the beach areas in these communities. And I must point out the work that took place in the community of Miro. Because on the morning of September 19, 2017, when I visited the community of Miro, and I saw the extent of debris that was on the beach, I was dumbfounded because I was wondering how were we going to get this thing off the beach. Because Mero, as we know, is a prime destination for tourists. And locals are like, Madam Speaker. But we put together a solid team, and the young people there worked feverishly to ensure that in quick time we could get the beach cleaned and have it ready to accommodate visitors and locals alike. And I must commend the groups in Mero for their hard work and their determination. And the same thing occurred in Layu, Madam Speaker, where once again we saw the young people there partnering the NEP to ensure that we could clean these communities, Madam Speaker. And this is what diligence and hard work is about. Putting your differences aside and ensuring, Madam Speaker, that you can get the job done. Because at the end of the day, we are the ones who live in these communities, and we are the ones who have a responsibility to ensure that these communities are kept clean. Additionally, Madam Speaker, I also want to highlight under head D29, the procurement of hurricane relief supplies. And that is critical. Because what this government did, Madam Speaker, post-Hurricane Maria, in ensuring that the citizens of this country could have gotten relief supplies, Madam Speaker, is a very patriotic, humanly, and compassionate act. While we receive supplies from some of the donor agencies, Madam Speaker, but we could not just sit back on our laurels and say, yes, let us just wait for them to send for us. No, Madam Speaker. We had a responsibility to ensure that the constituents, the Dominicans, no matter what political color you are, what religion you are, you were able to get supplies so that you could, once again, Madam Speaker, have a proper meal, a decent meal, post-Hurricane Maria. And we all know what transpired after this, Madam Speaker. And that is why the Prime Minister, again, ensured that these resources were made available to get supplies to the people. And while some criticized, Madam Speaker, and did nothing to ensure that their constituencies received, I can testify that the members on the government side, we went above and beyond the call of duty to ensure that the people who have elected us and who we are responsible for, they receive the supplies, Madam Speaker. And I'm very thankful for this. Of course, Madam Speaker, under head D52, we see a significant sum that was spent in post-Hurricane Maria works, Madam Speaker, throughout the country. And when we woke up on the morning of the 19th and we saw Dominica, it was a mammoth task, Madam Speaker, to clean this country. And the task is still ongoing. And we were able, Madam Speaker, to make the resources available to ensure that the contractors who worked in ensuring that the country was clean, they got paid. They got paid, Madam Speaker. And we've seen some drastic improvements that have been made across the country in ensuring that this country came back to a state of normalcy in quick time, Madam Speaker. And it's important to underscore this, Madam Speaker, because at this critical juncture, when all hands had to be on deck, we had some among us, Madam Speaker, who were criticizing and spewing all sorts of negatives about Dominica, Madam Speaker. Shame, shame, shame. And again, I must mention this. The Member of Parliament for Roseau Central, he could have no more of this negativity, Madam Speaker. And he had to make a bold step to ensure that if he had to make a contribution to nation building, he had to come and get away from the negative side. And that is why he's sitting on the government side in Parliament this evening, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister for the Environment, Joseph Isaac. And we've welcomed him, Madam Speaker, because he has realized the Herculean task that is before us to build this country back. He has realized that, Madam Speaker, and he has put political color aside, and he has decided to make a decision and take a decision in the best interest of Dominica to ensure that we can build back, and we can build back better, Madam Speaker, and that is what we will do. And finally, Madam Speaker, because like I said, this money has already been spent, an amount of over $5 million for the WASCO to get the water supplies across this country functioning properly and effectively. And of course, Madam Speaker, all of us suffered because after the hurricane, we had an island-wide shortage of water, Madam Speaker. Some of us went to the rivers, some of us went to the lakes, some of us went to the ravines, some of us went to the Sus. And the WASCO had some serious challenges because most, if not all, of their storage tanks were severely destroyed or impacted. And I believe there are still some areas where you still have some challenges, Madam Speaker. And the Prime Minister had to make these funds available to ensure that Dominicans could have a steady supply of pipe-borne water at their homes, Madam Speaker. And I am sure that coming out from Hurricane Maria and the experience that we had, the WASCO now has the opportunity to build back better and to ensure that we have a more resilient water network, Madam Speaker, all in the process of building a climate-resilient country. And so, Madam Speaker, with these few words, I have absolutely no reservations in supporting this supplementary appropriation that is before the House. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I need to rise to give my support just for a few minutes to the motion of the bill before this Honorable House, especially as it pertains to some of the amongst, Madam Speaker, in this appropriation as it pertains to the Ministry of Health, and of course my very own constituency, the 37 constituency, which spans the breadth of from White River in the north all the way down to Kubulibia factory in the south, Madam Speaker, very large geographical expanse, the 37 constituency. And as we know, also a very vulnerable part of the country. Just a little over 2 years ago, we suffered the brunt of Tropical Storm America, where we had almost 20 deaths in my home village of 37. And of course, 2 years after, we also took a hard hit from Hurricane Maria. And Madam Speaker, as we would be well aware that most of the appropriated sums before us, Madam Speaker, would be in this post-Maria period, because this appropriation runs from July 2007 to December 2007. And we know that Hurricane Maria occurred in September of this very same year. But Madam Speaker, before I proceed to shed some light on some of the amounts as it pertains to the Ministry of Health, I would like to be put on the record in this Honorable House my gratitude, Madam Speaker, and appreciation for the dedication and the work ethics, Madam Speaker, and love for country shared by our health workers post-Hurricane Maria, Madam Speaker. I would have done so many times before and other ministers of cabinet, but I think it would be remiss of me if I don't share this, Madam Speaker, put this on the public record in the hands of the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Dominica. Post-Hurricane Maria, Madam Speaker, the staff of the Ministry of Health, including the administrative staff, Madam Speaker, were exemplary. And I'm really hoping, Madam Speaker, as I've told them many times before, that they could carry some of this dedication, some of this love for country, some of this love for fellow human beings, Madam Speaker, carry it throughout the entire life. And I think if this can be done, Madam Speaker, the health sector, with all the investments that we make in infrastructure, training, etc., the health sector in Dominica would be heading in the right direction. Madam Speaker, just this afternoon on my lunch hour at 2 o'clock, would have held a press conference at the Ministry of Health just to bring the country up to date with some of the major issues of the health situation in Dominica. We, yours truly, would have returned freshly from a week-long trip to Cuba, not to go get nurses, as was suggested in the media while I was out, but having been invited to an international health conference in Cuba, and we took the opportunity also to address some of the more pressing issues or concerns right in Dominica, including the issue of nursing attrition, Madam Speaker. And I want to report, like I did this afternoon to the Honorable House, that that in the short-term relief, Madam Speaker, that very soon, in the next few days, we should be getting 20 well-trained nurses to try to ease up, Madam Speaker, the plight of the nurses here in Dominica. Because one of the issues that they would have brought to the front, Madam Speaker, when we met with them, myself and the former PS, that's PS Litton, who happens to be on pre-retirement leave, would be their long working hours and their high patient to nursing ratio, Madam Speaker. So while we know that this is not going to address the medium nor long-term issues as it pertains to nursing, we're hoping that the 20 nurses, Madam Speaker, will alleviate this complaint or this stress that they claim to be having with this high patient to nursing ratio, Madam Speaker. In addition, Madam Speaker, the government of the Republic of Cuba would also be supplying us with a number of specialists, Madam Speaker, while we train our very own in Cuba, like I've said many times before. Madam Speaker, if we go to the first amount, head D36, H200, H21, professional and consultancy in the appropriation, Madam Speaker, the sum of $476,080.50. That would be to meet the contractual payment for persons engaged under the school vision and BMI assessment. I can see clearly now I project. Madam Speaker, and I'm sure if you ask any one of them on the other side, they'll ask you, Saki sir, meaning what is that, Madam Speaker? Because more often than not, in fact, all the time, they don't take time, Madam Speaker, to inform themselves, to find out what is going on. This project, Madam Speaker, would be a project that would have been articulated a number of times before, where the government of Dominica, with the assistance of our Cuban counterparts, would have embarked on what they call a school vision and body mass index assessment for school children, all primary and secondary school children. Because we realize that sometimes, Madam Speaker, our children, our kids, as they are more affectionately known, I'm not sure if that's parliamentary language, our children, would, Madam Speaker, sometimes they don't perform, Madam Speaker, and it's not because they're not smart or they're not intelligent. Sometimes they would have visual and also hearing issues, Madam Speaker. So we plan on embarking on a similar exercise as pertains to hearing, but for now we would have covered, Madam Speaker, I can safely say 95% of all primary and secondary schools on the island. So what we did, Madam Speaker, we would have embarked on this program where we dispatch a team, and we also start the services of some of our retired nurses, family nurse practitioners, where they accompany the Cuban specialists, move from school to school, Madam Speaker, screening students for visual problems. And at the same time, we took advantage because we felt that we might not have another opportunity, Madam Speaker, to be able to conduct what they call a body mass index, of course, to evaluate the nutritional state of our school children, both primary and secondary school. Madam Speaker, not only did we assess, the government also made a commitment, Madam Speaker, to provide free spectacles, Madam Speaker, free eyeglasses for the students requiring glasses during this assessment, Madam Speaker. Almost $500,000 spent on this exercise. So, Madam Speaker, again, this is nothing new, as the Calypsonian said, that, Madam Speaker, because this is the hallmark of the Dominican Labour Party. And when I welcome my good friend and classmate from long ago, Joseph Isaac, I told him, welcome to the family of love, the family of labor, love, Madam Speaker, because that's what we do. We love people, Madam Speaker. Unlike the members on the other side, Madam Speaker, who feel it's more convenient, Madam Speaker, to them to not do anything. In fact, sometimes I think they'd rather be in the opposition. Maybe it wasn't for the little pay and etc. They would maybe remain in opposition their whole life because it's easier for them, Madam Speaker, because they can do nothing, don't go to their constituency, don't do estimates, don't visit people. They do nothing at all, Madam Speaker, and of course come here and blame the government when they themselves would not have done anything. But you have to do the work, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, every now and then I tell people, frankly, I'm a very frank, candid speaker. I tell people every now and then I wonder, why did I leave my profession? Okay, I had, I think, a board in medicine to enter politics, Madam Speaker. It's a lot of hard work. So those who believe that they want Parliament to meet every week, Madam Speaker, to put their multicolored suits or whatever to just come and sit in the air-conditioned office, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, they have to go on the ground, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I love my suit, so I want you to look at me, Madam Speaker. I want you to look at me, Madam Speaker. I mean, I too love my suits and my pretty clothes, Madam Speaker, but more often than not, you have to shed them, Madam Speaker. Get your jeans and T-shirt and go out in the ground, Madam Speaker. Hit the highways, the rock, and the byways to do the work. Madam Speaker, immediately after Hurricane Maria, Madam Speaker, even before we heard the pronouncement from the Honourable Minister of the rest of the government, Madam Speaker, I know the government that I'm a part of, Madam Speaker. I would have dispatched contractors in all villages in my constituency to get ready, Madam Speaker, because I know that the government that I'm part of, Madam Speaker, they will assist the people. So I got ready. I hit the ground, Madam Speaker, walk the villages, cross the rivers, the ravines, etc. This is what you guys need to do. Instead of just coming and sometimes ill-prepared. And not just, Madam Speaker, you would like to think that if they're so busy to call Parliament that they would come, they would have all the time in the world to prepare. Remember for us enough, we Sri Lanka cat-like accent, Madam Speaker. Fertilizer and chemicals post-Maria, $185,000. He was crying for it this morning that nothing has been budgeted or put aside to deal with this issue. And it's ongoing, Madam Speaker. This is just the first tranche of money, sorry, that was approved, Madam Speaker, to deal with the road and issue. Post-Maria. So, Madam Speaker, you would think that after calling for Parliament for so long, that they would come ongoing, boss. Google it, ongoing, what ongoing means. Madam Speaker. So you would think, Madam Speaker, that they would be better prepared. They would read. The leader of the opposition, Madam Speaker, I remember listening to a radio program where he was asked whether he knows about, because we heard him a number of occasions, Madam Speaker, criticizing the government on our low carbon climate resilient development strategy, which happens to have been under my ministry, which I have generously forwarded to my good friend Joseph Isaac. Very capable too, I know he'll do well. He was asked, Madam Speaker, by a caller, do you know anything about the 8 water storage tanks being built on the West Coast? No, I don't know anything about it. Madam Speaker, these 8 water tanks, Madam Speaker, they are being built under that very same DVRP program, under the Low Carbon Development Strategy program, Madam Speaker, to complement government West Coast Water Project. So, Madam Speaker, but what they do, Madam Speaker, they hear something, somebody writes something for them, or they go online, they Google something, whatever the case may be, and they come and they talk. I was about to use another expression, Madam Speaker. They talk and they talk and they talk. We prepared my partner before we come to Parliament. So, Madam Speaker, we have procured spectacles, Madam Speaker, for all our primary and secondary school students who so needed it, who so required. And as I said, we soon, wait not for Hurricane Maria, Madam Speaker, we would have embarked on a similar program as it pertains to hearing, etc. The second line item, Madam Speaker, renovation works at PMH. Of course, this is pretty self-explanatory, Madam Speaker. We had to embark on repair works to the medical wards. And I must say, Madam Speaker, in spite of a very slow start, Madam Speaker, that work has been progressing satisfactorily as it pertains to repair of the wards. I spoke about the fertilizer and chemicals already, but more so today for the edification of the member for Rosenhoff, who they call the shadow minister. Don't stay close to me, my partner, as you my shadow. Madam Speaker, moving away from the Ministry of Health, we go to Public Works, Madam Speaker. And again, Dr. McIntyre, Madam Speaker, alluded to some of the works being done. But I just want to just touch briefly because some of these works are being executed, Madam Speaker, in some of the communities in my constituency. Again, as I said at the beginning, a very vulnerable part of Dominica. And one of the Bailey bridges, and Honorable Oshu made the introduction, he would have received an updated list as it pertains to the first set of Bailey bridges that were installed, because I remember Honorable Member for Solway asking about the White River, and yes, Madam Speaker, this list was revised. So we were supposed to have a bridge installed in Pishley. This subsequently was transferred to Kinfield River Estate. Much to the delight of the Honorable Blackmore, I saw multiple pictures on Facebook and party, etc., because the people there had no access to the homes, Madam Speaker. And I want to tell the Honorable Blackmore it was a pleasure, of course, seeing the bridge in Pishler because we had made some other arrangements to your constituency in River Estate, Kinfield. Madam Speaker, for Saint-Jean, as we speak, a Bailey Bridge also being installed in Fort Saint-Jean, Madam Speaker, again another very vulnerable community, a cul-de-sac, a dead end, where we have the Atlantic Ocean to one side, Madam Speaker, and of course the Fort Saint-Jean end of the Bagatelle River threatening. So when it rained, Madam Speaker, and the road was cut out, they basically have nowhere to go. Atlantic Ocean on this side, Madam Speaker, and no road out. So the residents are very happy, Madam Speaker. We have seen work started on the installation of a Bailey Bridge right in Fort Saint-Jean. And part of this $20 million, Madam Speaker, for river dredging, Pishler is also the beneficiary, Madam Speaker, one of the beneficiaries of this river dredging. And of course, I'm not sure if anybody, apart from me in here, would have had the opportunity to see what happened in Pishler post-Hurricane Maria, Madam Speaker. It indeed what is being threatened. And again, as I said, the residents of Pishler are very happy, and they can sleep better, Madam Speaker. Just the sight of the heavy equipment, the Dominica strong, Madam Speaker, vehicles as they call them, in Pishler, Madam Speaker, would have alleviated their fear because the hurricane season is just a couple months, or a few weeks away, rather, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with these few words, the cash out program that Honorable Kelver spoke about, the Minister for Telecommunication and Information Technology spoke about, Madam Speaker. Again, the community of Pishler was part of this program. And in closing, Madam Speaker, I just wanted to touch on this grant, Madam Speaker, that was given to our neighboring country, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Thomas, Cuba. Madam Speaker, and I think that's commendable. That even with our own challenges, we have our own problems, Madam Speaker, but we have made a commitment, Madam Speaker, to help these islands after the passage of Hurricane Irma. Of course, I comes before M, for those of us who maybe didn't go to school, as Honor said. I come before M, so Irma would have been before Maria, and we would have committed, Madam Speaker, to assisting this sister island, Madam Speaker. And in spite of the fact that Hurricane Maria came a couple of weeks after, Madam Speaker, we still came through with our commitment to these islands, and I think this is commendable. And not only coming from, Madam Speaker, that we had the funds, Madam Speaker, we had the funds, CBI, whatever it is that they're ranting about, we had the funds to meet through, to go through with the commitment, Madam Speaker, to the sister island. And, Madam Speaker, this is why the good book says, I think God help those who help themselves, Madam Speaker. And then when you give, Madam Speaker, and get in return, I think it's why, Madam Speaker, countries have responded to us, Madam Speaker, in such a very good way. Because this government, Madam Speaker, looks after its own, after the most vulnerable, and also, Madam Speaker, we don't have much, Madam Speaker, but whatever little we had, we're willing to reach out, Madam Speaker, to our sister island. That is why God has blessed us, Madam Speaker, post-Maria. And blessed us, he has, Madam Speaker. And the Honorable Prime Minister laid out some of the things, Madam Speaker. I mean, we have a situation where we have some parties, I don't mean political parties, although maybe yes, could be, trying to rile up the nurses, Madam Speaker, for more pay. You know, and I addressed this at the function this after, Madam Speaker, and then I told the nurses, speaking to the nursing body, that they have to ask themselves the question of people, at this juncture, Madam Speaker, in our history, few months after Category 12 hurricane, Madam Speaker. You have me, a Category 12 hurricane, Madam Speaker. Government would have met all its commitments to the union, Madam Speaker, the double bubble, the famous double bubble. There has been no month, Madam Speaker, that salaries have been late. So you have to question, Madam Speaker, the motives of people trying to get nurses, Madam Speaker, to fly away or to go on strike, Madam Speaker, for more pay. I'm not saying they don't deserve more pay, Madam Speaker. Don't get me wrong. All of us deserve more pay. I deserve more pay, Madam Speaker. I don't think the pittance I'm being paid as a minister, Madam Speaker, is enough, Madam Speaker. I'm telling you, for the stress that this job entails, I have to say it. Okay, so I can maybe protest some more pay to, Madam Speaker. But we say, Madam Speaker, at this juncture, Madam Speaker, in our history, and I've told them that Dominica, history rather, will remember them. Those who prepare to stay, Madam Speaker, and give service to the country, and will also remember them not too kindly. Those who decide to run away when the country needs them the most, and in some cases, even trample on when Dominica needs them the most, Madam Speaker. With these few words, Madam Speaker, I have no choice but to support the motion before the House, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much.
Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to make my contribution on the supplementary appropriation before the House for debate. Madam Speaker, First, under the heading of Ministry of Employment, Madam Speaker, procurement of hurricane relief and general supplies. Madam Speaker, we as Dominicans, Madam Speaker, Hurricane Maria touched everyone. About 95% of our housing stock got damaged, talking about $1.3 billion in terms of revenue loss and everything, 226% of our GDP. So the entire country got affected. And you're talking about relief supplies and equitable distribution, Madam Speaker. People most in need getting these supplies on time. You're talking about, Madam Speaker, Maria saw no colors. Maria was all over, Madam Speaker. But we had some instances of people who got, the vulnerable people who got affected. They were discriminated, Madam Speaker. We had that happen several places around the island. I must say, Madam Speaker, as Member for Parliament for Salisbury Coalition Monrachet, I did my best to reach the people who were in charge of distribution. I stayed away from it. I called the coordinator and ensure that the Salisbury Disaster Management Committee and the Coolibistry Monrachet Village Council got supplies to assist the people. I try to stay away from involvement in distribution and everything. Even the minister, Honorable Douglas, and I met in Portsmouth and made some water available for the constituency. And even the member for Colliho assisted me when I was in Portsmouth to get some tarpaulins for people. So we were trying to assist everybody. Madam Speaker, I want to take the opportunity to thank the people of Salisbury living overseas that raised in excess of $45,000 US to purchase supplies, relief supplies, and get them into Salisbury via Guadeloupe, Martinique, and even the United States to reach the people that was most in need. And Madam Speaker, that is what we'd like to see happen, that there's equitable distribution. Because Maria saw no color. We as members of Parliament should ensure that the people that in need get the supplies. And we heard too much of it around the island. I think we have to correct it going forward. We are heading into the hurricane season. We need to empower the village councils, the disaster management committees, and other groups in the different communities to ensure that they are prepared going forward for a major Category 5 hurricane. We have to prepare for Category 5, but hope for the best, Madam Speaker. As the new Minister for Public Works said earlier on, that Dominica cannot take another Maria, and we all know that, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, under the Ministry of Agriculture, I take a little pause, Madam Speaker, because I listen to the Minister of Public Works when he made mention about blaming the government. Madam Speaker, the buck stops at the top. And a lot of things happen, inconsistencies that could have been corrected or avoided. $18,817,400, Madam Speaker, for fishers and farmers. Madam Speaker, as a parliamentary representative for Salisbury Coolibistry Monrachet, that's a farming community and also fishing. And the same day of the first payment that took place in St. Joseph, we had a lot of red flags. Concerns began to come in. Madam Speaker, farmers, bona fide farmers, had problems getting the support or getting paid or getting disbursement. And the name was not on the list, Madam Speaker. And these are farmers that everybody knew. They're in the market, they're selling to hucksters, Madam Speaker. They meet the requirement, but they were not on the first list. And Madam Speaker, you said, the minister said that there was no government interference. Salisbury had political interference. And that was a concern. As the member of parliament for the, I tried to stay away, allow the machinery to work properly. But as the MP, I also represented the best interests of my constituents. Madam Speaker, you have 92 commercial farmers in the Prime Minister constituency, Penville, Vickers, and Thibault. And I'm hearing about only 40 in the Salisbury constituency. Let us think about that. 92 out of 900, that is over 10%, you know. Commercial farmers that's what got $10,000. Commercial farmers, they came from the north. You have got fishermen in Penville, in Vickers. Madam Speaker. And well, it's a few, Madam Speaker. But the point if you have any, there is a few, one or two, Madam Speaker. But I am saying, Madam Speaker, the point I am making, 92 individuals got $10,000 as commercial farmers and fishers. I am from Salisbury, Madam Speaker. You're telling me in the Salisbury constituency have less than 50 commercial farmers and fishers? Madam Speaker, under the criteria. Madam Speaker, and that is the concern that I have. Right now, Madam Speaker, you still have farmers and fishers in Salisbury constituency, and Monochet, who have not received any compensation. They did everything. They followed the protocol. They followed the procedures. Madam Speaker, what I am saying, Madam Speaker, they should be on the first list. If it was done properly, Madam Speaker, you have the extension officers. I worked in the banana industry for 16 years, and I was the individual preparing the list. I was paying the farmers. No politics was involved. No minister called and said, Mr. John, pay that person or pay this person. It was being done through our database. They give us the criteria for payment, and we send out the list to different areas. And the farmers got paid. That's how it was done. No political interference. Madam Speaker, we had a database. That's how it was done. And that's what we expected, that the farmers, bona fide farmers and fishers, would have gotten their pay or the disbursement properly. Madam Speaker, and that is what we would like to see. Going forward, I heard the minister spoke of more monies coming in. We have to ensure that we have a database, criteria set, with the World Bank respected. I'm hearing of too many cancelled checks. You have bona fide farmers who are called to come and pick up the checks, and when they get there, they have a red flag by it. There are family members who had checks written, and then they give a smaller check to the family. Total disrespect to our bona fide farmers. How do you expect them to take that money and reinvest in their farms? You have, in some families, have maybe 4 or 5 people getting cash. That happened in Dublin, Madam Speaker. I know that. That is what we are talking about. Ensure that if you have set criteria, ensure that we are transparent in terms of doing what is right. We want every farmer to feel comfortable. I heard you spoke about your farmers in Mount Prospect, and you might have some discrepancies, but across the board, and especially in my constituency, we had farmers who were still. I'm going to give you an example. I will say straight to, that's why we see it as being political. In my family, have farmers, and only one, my brother, got compensated. And the other brothers, they're my brothers, and they are farmers, everybody know them. They did the follow-up in terms of the full in the query, the complaint. There's an elderly man, 83 years old. Everybody know him in Salisbury farming. Walk into his farm. He did the follow-up in terms of, and nothing happened. You know? And Madam Speaker, and you have government authorities having the list and saying who's on the list, calling people and telling them to come for check, which should have been done through the ministry. And these are the type of things we see happening. If it is done via the officials within the ministry, people see that it being done professionally. You extracting the political interference or the perception of politics involved. And that is what we like to see, Madam Speaker, going forward. And Madam Speaker, and the extension officers, blame game started as well, Madam Speaker. Blame game started as well, Madam Speaker. You have the extension officers. The extension officers, that is a conduit between the farmers and the government. They have a very important role to play. I am not saying that you will not have some concerns. That's why it's important that you get information and you verify. And you eliminate some of the concerns that you have. But when you throw the entire extension department under the boss, that's a serious problem. They were blamed publicly. The entire extension was blamed. Madam Speaker, look, the former minister is sitting right there. And Madam Speaker, and that is what we are saying, Madam Speaker, on this side. Let us ensure that things are done properly. Because we are getting the funding. The funding, you cannot take money is made available to our farmers. And our officials don't know what we are doing. Like it's what, and now, you know what happened again before I leave that point? They're telling some farmers, you see, I let you get money. Don't forget to vote for me. You cannot use my money to buy me. Now you're hearing that? Find out, go on the ground in Salisbury and you'll find out. Go on the ground in Salisbury and you'll find out. That is why I'm saying the best thing to do is to pull out the political interference, Madam Speaker, going forward. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the housing, Ministry of Housing, 5.2 million to Dowa School. And I support that, Madam Speaker, but I want us to go further. We have a serious water concern in Salisbury. Salisbury, Colibistry, Monrachet, Grand Savan, Tapive, La Savan, we have serious concern, inconsistency with our water program thing. But one of our biggest problems we have, during Erica, we lost our intake. And they put in a temporary intake in the heights of Salisbury. To the government, it was placed there by the WASCO, and it assisted us in getting water. But during Maria, it got washed out a bit. But even before Maria, there was a plan to build an intake. And I think the funding was coming from the BNTF program. And I believe just before that as well, they were doing tendering and whatnot. And that Maria came and the thing. But right now, 7 months, we got water, I must say, about a week after Maria, they put back the temporary intake. But 7 months on the road, we're having some serious problems going into the hurricane season. We're hearing that there were bids. Some people went on the site on their own and whatnot. It was for that project. But, Madam Speaker, just over the weekend, for the past time, we have in some areas in Salisbury, 2 days, 3 days passing without we have water. Yes, I live in the lower part of Salisbury, so I'm not affected too much. But yesterday, they had to close the lower part of Salisbury and ensure that the water go back up to La Savan, Tapive area. And that is a serious concern. We have a storage tank on the Grand Savan, and it's affecting the area as well. And I want us to look at our intake, seeing how soon we can repair that intake. I don't know if the minister can give us an update of where we are in terms of the intake and going forward. Monrachet as well have a storage tank. We would like to know when that storage tank is going to be commissioned and in proper use. I'm hearing that they have a problem with a pump or sending water intake. So I'm just bringing it up to Madam Speaker. I've spoken to the minister as well. That's what they want to hear. What I did, Madam Speaker, they said that on this side, we do not try to reach the ministers. And as soon as Mr. Honorable McIntyre became the Minister of Public Works, I went to his office and have a discussion about some of the concerns in my constituency. And that's what I try to do in terms of representing my people. And Madam Speaker, we would like to see us going forward in terms of that water situation that we have in Salisbury, Coolibistry, Monrachet, Grand Savan as well. is a serious concern. I would like it to be addressed very soon. Madam Speaker, I heard the Minister of Health spoke earlier on the health right now and renovation of some areas in the hospital, and that was important. But I'd like us to go further in terms of yes, I'll go to the South Wales Center in a while and Colibi Street, but also the hospital. I think the approach to the hospital, going to the hospital, the first section is still uncovered after Maria. I think we have enough garbage on island that the government should address some of the public buildings, and that is very important. The entrance of the hospital, the first area, it's looking unsightly here. Yeah, I'm always there. I don't have to take pictures to show I was at the hospital, but I'm always at the hospital visiting. Madam Speaker, we have a serious concern as well on this side in terms of our human resource at the hospital. The minister made mention of it, but we have to, it's a serious concern that we have. Our nurses, they're leaving. And how can we stop that? And they're leaving very fast right now. And Madam Speaker, recently just 15 left, but something that's very important. Madam Speaker, very important, last year, the beginning of the school year in September, we had 12 nurses starting the nursing program. And now we have only 8. We have a lot leaving, but we don't have a lot in the system. But what I would just a little recommendation, Madam Speaker. I think we should take into consideration how we can get some of our young people into the nursing program and to keep them. Looking at maybe a 3 years of free training for nurses into the program, and see how we can have a bond with them, maybe 5-year bond, and keep them in the system, and see how we can make the conditions, working conditions, much better. I think we have to work with them, our nurses, and ensure that we keep them. That is a serious part of a human resource, and I would like us to address that. Madam Speaker, yes, my suggestion is, and let me repeat, Mr. Yeah, you got that. Okay, the minister got that. Madam Speaker, on the public works, Madam Speaker. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So just another area, Minister. Appointment of some of our nurses as well, and that the appointment is taking too long, so we need to address that as well. Expedite that process. On the public works, Madam Speaker, for $47.4 million spent, $13.6 million on the infrastructural works at the ports of entry. Madam Speaker, that is important in terms of ensuring that we can get materials, goods, and services in and out of Dominica at a very quick pace. But we should give priority to one of our ports of entry, the international airport, Madam Speaker. We have spoken on several occasions, Madam Speaker, about that. And I just want to bring it, the reason why I bring this up, Madam Speaker, today, as we speak, we had a high official delegation from the Ross universities on island. And their concerns, Madam Speaker, is the space of our works, our infrastructural development, and in Dominica, right, the pace, Madam Speaker. And that is a serious concern. I'm hearing that there are more officials coming in, and they raised that concern today. And more officials, I think, from the U.S. State Department coming in and looking at the pace. Ross want to come back, but we have to do what is necessary to bring them. Yes. Madam Speaker, and that is why you have a high delegation here, and it has to do with our infrastructure. Ports of entry, our roads, Madam Speaker, we need that. Madam Speaker, we have our priorities. We have to set our priorities right. Madam Speaker, 13 million on Bailey Bridges, post-Maria. That is a serious concern. We are moving into the hurricane season. Have we properly addressed the road network in Dominica, the entire road network. I live on the west coast, but if you drive right down to the east, Daly's, Dominica, down to the south as well. I know work is going on right now, but there's some areas we need to address, our bridges. When last we did an inspection of all our bridges? That is important going forward. We want to know if any of them will not compromise and really in some critical areas. You're talking about Portsmouth, not Portsmouth, Point Round. And I made mention of Battley. If you look at the Battley Bailey Bridge, it's deep in on the northern end. We need to address that. The bypass in Makushri, Madam Speaker. We have to look at the one in Layu. That is the only one we have now. There's one before it, you never know, it can be blockage and everything and compromise the other one. We need to look at all these things going forward, Madam Speaker. And it's important that we discuss these issues and not just pay lip service, but do work on in these areas, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I said, we are moving to the hurricane season. It's at hand, rainy season, and our public buildings, Madam Speaker, in some areas across the country. And I can speak of Salisbury, the Salisbury Primary School, the Salisbury Health Center, the Coolibee Street Health Center. The young people in Coolibee Street, they cleaned up the health center. We still have the health center is being housed at the part of the church building in Coolibee Street. But the young people clean that building. The elderly have to climb the steps in Coolibee Street to access the health center. We need to address that, Madam Speaker. The health center in Salisbury, it got some damage, something small, not too serious, and nothing was done. The Salisbury Primary School. I just want us to address these things. This should be priority. Public buildings, Madam Speaker, should be priority to ensure that our children are going to school in a conducive environment, Madam Speaker. And there are some areas, some communities, Madam Speaker, that do not have a hurricane shelter. They do not have a hurricane shelter going into that hurricane season. And we need to address these things. We need to not just build them, but identify new ones, look at maybe even some homes we can use to people close by to move in, Madam Speaker. And that is important, Madam Speaker. You know, and we would like us as a country, Madam, as a government, we on that side have a role to play as well, as a government, to ensure that we protect lives and properties. I heard about dredging by the Honorable Minister of Public Works, but Coolibee Street was never mentioned. Coolibee Street is at high risk, Madam Speaker. I spoke to him about it. We are not only in Coolibee Street, you have to go up into Coolibee Street, the heights of Coolibee Street, and see the type of danger we face down the river. And that is what we need to address, Madam Speaker. How can we minimize the risk? How can we protect lives and properties? But what is important as well, Madam Speaker, the interaction with the people. Madam Speaker, we have not seen any government official having a discussion with the people of Coolibee Street on how a discussion, meeting with them tete-a-tete, constructive engagement is critical. Get them on board with your relocation or whatever you're doing. Listen to them. They're saying, we don't need to move from Coolibee Street, we might need river walls. Let us interact with them. You know, I am not saying that is the way to go. The reason why I'm raising that, they're a different school of thought. We have to listen to them. Because shove it down their throat, Madam Speaker. Right. And of course, that is important, but we have to have the discussion. We have not had the discussion with them. And that is critical. Like the people in Coolibee Street, they're just left on their own. Madam Speaker, that is important. We need to discuss and meet with the people of Coolibee Street. Madam Speaker, as I close, I just want us here in this honorable house to understand we have a very important role to play. And trying to sideline members of the opposition cannot work, will not work. When some people say that we do not try to make ourselves available, on the 28th, not the 28th, the first time we went to the ministry, maybe the 18th of September, we went to the office, to the financial center, myself and Danny Luge, 2 days after the storm, we went, member for Rosenhoff, sorry, Madam Speaker, we went to the financial center and we gave a report of what transpired in our constituency, urgent needs and everything. We did that. And then we follow up. The following week, we met with Mr. Blackmore is right there, the minister, the member of parliament for Maho. He and Minister of Justice, yes, sorry, the Minister of Justice, he organized a meeting with us with the Prime Minister on the 20th of September, Madam Speaker. That's just a week after Hurricane Maria, we went to his office and we discussed these very issues, what we'd like to see happen in our constituency, and we made ourselves available. And it was, and we made ourselves available on how we can assist and what are the concerns that we have in our constituency. So when we come there, that notion that the members of the opposition never try to reach and have a discussion, it's untrue. It's untrue, Madam Speaker. So I just want us to begin to be sincere and let us do the work to ensure that our people get the fair share in terms of the not only supply but protection of their lives and property and moving forward, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I rise to give my support to the supplementary appropriation, which is now before the House for debate. Madam Speaker, I'll just make a very brief contribution to the debate here. But I want to say, Madam Speaker, that on the 19th of September 2017, when I walked through the community of Grand Bay after the passage of Hurricane Maria, like many other Dominicans, I was despondent and wondering how were we going to really respond to the challenges that we had to confront in the aftermath of the storm. And Madam Speaker, thank God I was able to quickly reassure myself that the Dominica Labour Party, led by Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, was in power, and we had every confidence that we were going to meet the challenges that were set before us, Madam Speaker. And in the past 7 months, that has been clearly demonstrated that the Dominica Labour Party government has done the work that was necessary to ensure that we met up with the challenges that we faced. And Madam Speaker, I'm not sure why we really have to debate these supplementary appropriations here. Because clearly, Madam Speaker, you can see that every single appropriation here was necessary to ensure that we made the resources available to meet the needs of Dominicans. And Madam Speaker, I will try to highlight a few of these, areas on the supplementary appropriation. But I want to respond a little bit first to the honourable member for Salisbury. Don't go yet, my friend. Sit down. Just to let you know a few things before you go. I saw you wanted to go, so that's why I wanted to address this later, but you're here. So just to reassure you, we have a new Minister for Water Resources. The former minister, now Minister of Agriculture, would know this, but we have a new minister, and in his presentation, he did not make reference to this, but because I happen to work at the WASCO, I may have a little bit of information that I can share with you. Just to let you know, and to let the people of Grand Savan and Montrachet know, the wonderful people of Montrachet, let them know that the WASCO is working assiduously to address their water problems. The plan is to construct a new pump station at Batterley. The land has already been acquired, and that pump station will supply water to the people of Monrachet and Grand Savan. And that is already in place. It's getting there soon enough. We hope that we can respond. But to also let you know that the DVRP is doing a lot of work along the West Coast to ensure that we can improve the supply. It's a consolidation of 9 water systems into one system. And that West Coast Water Supply project that you would be very familiar with, I'm sure you're familiar with it, is one that will do a lot to ensure that we can really and truly have a sustained supply of water to the people along the West Coast. And it's not easy, because Hurricane Maria, as you rightfully suggested, dealt us a heavy blow. Dealt our water systems a heavy blow. As a matter of fact, many of our water systems still remain very vulnerable around the country. But we have to commend the efforts of the management and the staff of DOWASCO for the tremendous work that they did after Maria to restore water to the Dominican community. And so, you know, we have to place that on record, and I was hoping that you would have said so. And I also want to commend the people of Salisbury who worked themselves to help to restore water just maybe 1 or 2 weeks after the storm. They assisted 1 week after the storm, and they assisted, and we have to commend them too. So when people came out and assisted, not just in Salisbury, in Vegas and in other communities, in Grand Bay, I could not be in contact with the team in Roseau because the road network was cut. I had to help to lead a team to restore water from an old intake because the Pishler intake that supplied Grand Bay was washed away. You know, so a lot of work was done, and I just want to reassure you and the people of Monrachet and Grand Savan that work is being done to ensure, well, yes, and the other parts of your constituency, that work is being done to help to restore water to the community. And I also was hoping, Honorable Member for Salisbury, you spoke at length about the support to our farmers. You know, and maybe there may be concerns. I'm certain that there are, farmers who support the Labour Party who did not receive assistance. There are many of them. I encountered them many times who said, look, I support the Labour Party and I still did not receive assistance. You know, so, but I was hoping that you would be thankful that over $1 million was paid to farmers in the Salisbury constituency. And I was really hoping that you would have said so. Yeah, it is, well, when you say it is their money, where did the money come from? It was not taxpayers' money. It was not taxpayers' money. It was money that was made. It was money that was made available by the World Bank, I believe, to give to them. So it was not their money. It was money, but we are confident. We are confident that more money will be made available in support of the agricultural sector. And I have every confidence that the new Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Reggie Ostry, will manage that project efficiently, and that the farmers of Dominica will be well served by the funds that will be made available in the future. The bank the money is in the bank. Madam Speaker, to go back to the supplementary appropriations that we have here, Madam Speaker, I want to focus a little bit on the monies that were made available to provide support to the Dominican community after Hurricane Maria. And Madam Speaker, a tremendous job done by the government. This was not easy. By no means was it easy to manage supplies, relief supplies to Dominicans all across the country. At a time when the road network was cut, communication was cut, you know, everybody had to get involved. And I know as the chairman of the Grand Bay Village Council that we had to be involved, and we had to play our part. And we had to work in conjunction with the parliamentary representative and with other community groups to ensure that we met the needs of people. We could not meet all the needs, no, but the basic needs were met, and people were not always satisfied. You cannot always satisfy people, but they cannot say that they did not have access to relief supplies. And I'm very happy that the government, made resources available to ensure that people were taken care of. We did not wait until food supplies came from overseas. The government had money, and therefore the government made money and resources available to ensure that people were fed, that people had the basic needs to survive. It was all about survival in the first few weeks after Maria. And so, Madam Speaker, I personally want to thank the people of the South, not just Granby, but of the South, both the Pitt-Severn and Granby constituencies, because I was trapped there for about 3 weeks, so I was integrally involved in the whole relief effort. That the people themselves, and I presume that was the situation around Dominica, that people came out. And that is what we must celebrate as leaders, that the people of Dominica were really resilient people who came out. Yeah, they came out and they played their part. And we should not be standing here throwing words at each other, but we must celebrate the manner in which our people made an effort to rebuild Dominica and to rebuild their communities. As I said, on the 19th, I was despondent. But 7 months later, it is as if Maria is a distant challenge. The rapid manner in which we have returned to normalcy, Madam Speaker, is something that we together must celebrate, Madam Speaker. It's not just a government achievement. It is an achievement of the people. And there are people who did not support the government, who were out there with chainsaws, who were out there with shovels, who were out there doing work to ensure that their communities were clean, to ensure that, that we all had a better standard of living. And we have to commend all the people of Dominica, no matter whom they support, for the hard work that was done. But, Madam Speaker, I want to take time off to commend the many international organizations who came to our rescue. I have to thank in particular from the Granby end the French communities of northern Martinique, who supplied the people of the south from Soufrière all the way to Font-Saint-Jean with food supplies, a constant supply of food for the first 8 weeks after the storm. They came at least 2 days after Maria, and they never stopped coming. They came in fishing boats. They came with whatever they could to ensure that our people were fed, and we have to thank them. We have to really, really thank them profusely for the support that they gave. And of course, in the months after Maria, we saw that Dominicans themselves in the diaspora very concerned about their country. And I have to thank the many Dominicans who organized all over the world, in Canada, in Europe, in England, in America, throughout the Caribbean. And even people who did not know us, people whom we do not know, they came forward and they assisted. And they continue to do that. They continue to send assistance in different forms. And we have to thank them for all the support that they have been given, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we see here an appropriation for the Bailey Bridges. And I want to speak to that because we in the South were cut out for several weeks, and we had to, at times, walk to get to the capital city. And I think it was a timely intervention that the government was able to make funds available to put up the Bailey Bridges to improve communication, the road network, and they continue to do so. And we look forward to the Geneva Bridge, works have already begun. That bridge has been compromised for some time since Erica and even before Erica. And I'm happy that that bridge is finally coming to fruition. And I do hope that we can also bring a bridge to the people of Highland in Granby, near Zephyr's shop. I understood that there are plans for that, and I'm certainly happy that the school children who have to walk to school through a ravine that was, through a gorge that was created by the ravine there, you know, that they would have to. But the government came forward and provided transportation service for the school children. They have to go all around, and I want to commend the government for that. However, the people of Highland are looking forward to the bridge, and I do hope that that can be done in quick time, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the support for the farmers from the World Bank is a commendable effort, because one of the things that we had to ensure was that there was food security. And yes, some people said that the farmers could not reinvest the money, but I am certain that there are many farmers who have invested the funds that they received into their farms. And that is why today we have some food on the market. That is why today we can even begin to export some food, Madam Speaker. So I want to commend the farmers who use the money effectively to go back to their farms, because food security is an important thing for us in this country. And after Maria, because our food supply was severely affected, we were very happy that $18 million was invested to ensure that we could ensure food security. Madam Speaker, I am certain that a few more speakers will address a number of areas, you know, as it relates to the supplementary appropriation. But I just want to say that this is a time to set aside, you know, political differences. It is certainly a time to set aside political differences and to get to work in responding to the needs of Dominicans. During the budget debate last year, I called on the nation to develop a sense of patriotic confidence in Dominica. I didn't know that Hurricane Maria was coming. I didn't know that Hurricane Maria was going to devastate our country. But it is important that we always keep in mind that this country is all that we have. It is all that we have. And I would presume that we all love Dominica. I would presume that. I would hope so. And so that is why we must always seek to be confident in the future of our country. I certainly am. And I am confident that the Dominica Labour Party, led by Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit, the Honorable Prime Minister, will continue to offer a serious leadership that will take Dominica to a brighter future. Madam Speaker, we must demonstrate that sense of confidence. And that is the only way that we can meet the challenges posed by Hurricane Maria. Yes, we can build better, but building is one aspect of meeting up to the challenges. We must build confidence in the people. We must build a sense of patriotism in people. And that is what I believe that all of this will do. And I look forward to the upcoming budget. Remember that we are already building a near $1 billion economy. That was already happening when we presented the budget of $800+ million. So Dominica was going places. Maria came, and it sort of put a stall in our tracks. But I look forward because I am confident that the CBI program and other areas set aside by the government will certainly help us to rebound quickly, and that we can continue to do the work that is necessary to help this country move forward. So, Madam Speaker, I have no hesitation in supporting the supplementary appropriations. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I rise to give my support to the bill before this Honorable House, the Supplementary Appropriation Bill covering the period July 1st, 2017 to December 2017. My contribution will be brief, and I will focus only on monies allocated to my ministry, Ministry of Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs, and I will touch briefly on my constituency allocation during this period. I must first of all give the background information to my contribution. Madam Speaker, in August of 2015, the communities of Petit Savan, Coolibistri, Campbell, Paradise Valley, and my constituency, Coliho, were amongst the hardest hit by Tropical Storm Erica. Being the caring government that we are, under the leadership of one of the most dynamic leaders the region has ever seen, we, without hesitation, assessed the plight of the people of the various communities and came to their rescue by providing them with a level of comfort, a ray of hope, when it seemed that all was lost. Madam Speaker, we could have simply said this was an act of God and left the people to fend for themselves. But this would be uncharacteristic of this government. This is simply not us. Arrangements were made to take care of them, Madam Speaker. The 315 households affected became wards of the state and were assisted with rent payment and displacement allowance to the tune of $297,331.66 on a monthly basis. Madam Speaker, to date, we continue to assist this household or commend the parliamentary representatives of these communities for putting themselves off to find employment for their people in this their difficult moment. Madam Speaker, in December of 2016, we were faced with yet another sad state of affairs in the community of Silver Lake, where about 20 people that night lost their homes as it was gutted by fire. Families were made homeless as their place of abode was all gone. Madam Speaker, we were on the scene, this government, we were on the scene, some of us at the same time, maybe in half night gone and half closed. And Madam Speaker, I must at this stage thank the past local government commissioner who came all the way from Bagatelle, Mr. John Fountain and his staff, the people from the Bath Estate community, and many persons who came to the rescue of these families. And there I am speaking of the first responders, Madam Speaker. We were able to take them, place them in a safe abode. I was able to go home, make some tea, get some pots and pans, and to ensure that comfort them in this their vulnerable situation at the time, because they had lost almost everything. Madam Speaker, it is for these two ongoing situations that an advance from the contingency fund in the sum of $1,917,742.82 was given to the Ministry of Social Services and Gender Affairs to facilitate this amount in the Supplementary Appropriation Fund to facilitate the assistance of continued payment to the victims of the Silver Lake fire, which cost us about $9,900 monthly. Displacement allowance also to the victims of Silver Lake and Petit Savan and all the other areas in the amount of $829,500, and rental assistance in the sum of $1,050,000 in favor of these people affected by Tropical Storm Erica. Madam Speaker, this amount, we had to set up a help desk. We had to get a coordinator because it was a lot going on for the Ministry of Social Services. So this amount included payment to the coordinator and also an assistant, payment for travel allowance. Madam Speaker, we set up a structured system, a functional process, all in an effort to lessen the burden of these displaced victims. Madam Speaker, this government understands what vulnerability is about, and under no circumstances would we seek to extract from our people funds that they did not have. We couldn't ask them to pay for anything. We are in the business of helping and caring for people. And that is why, Madam Speaker, we will remain relentless in our efforts to provide accommodation for these people until such time that we can place them in their own homes and provide them with all what they need. So we are still holding their hands. We have so far gone and look at the situation with the displacement allowance, because most of them who had lost their livelihoods, they have found jobs, and 2 years going now, Madam Speaker, we can lift the displacement, take that displacement allowance from them, but we continue to provide for their rental assistance. We looked at those who are very, very vulnerable, and we are still giving them the displacement allowance which they need. Madam Speaker, anybody who wants to find out about the expenditure of these funds, this allocation, it's there for verification. The accounts are there for verification purposes, for transparency and accountability. These concepts that meaning are not mere words for the purpose of decoding. They are really there. You can go, examine, see, and you will get the record straight that how we spend this money. And so, Madam Speaker, on behalf of these people, I want to express profound thanks to the Ministry of Finance, whose fundamental concern is making life worth living. And we look at as we look at the entire schedule of this appropriation, which covers the period June to December, we can see that it is focused on helping people, the very nature of this government, helping people in the areas of health, public works, roads infrastructure, housing, and employment. Madam Speaker, I will now address my constituency's benefits as a result of the allocations in this bill. I need to express my profound thanks on behalf of my constituents of the Collioure constituency, comprising Collioure, Dublin, and Bioche, for the support afforded during the most trying moments after Hurricane Maria. This constituency was hit by Erica, hit again by Maria. Maybe we are doing something wrong. Maybe we have to go back to our God. Maybe we have to put down our knees and ask for forgiveness of something. And Madam Speaker, as you may be aware, Collioure itself, that community was severely affected. Through the procurement of hurricane relief and general supplies, the communities received their fair share, Madam Speaker, as allocated under head D29 of the Ministry of Trade, Energy and Employment in the amount of $3,173,036.30. And Madam Speaker, during this period, we set up structures. It was well organized. We had different committees working, and the job of the PAREP was to ensure that the supplies reach the people. That was the job of the PAREP, but the distribution was left to the organized groups in the. Our focus was ensuring that the most vulnerable of these communities were taken care of, Madam Speaker. We catered for everyone, regardless of color, race, creed. There was no discrimination in our distribution of the supplies because the money came from the CBI funds because we had to purchase food. Food wasn't forthcoming, and the first set of relief that we got was from these funds, and thank God again for CBI. We did not want anyone from the community crying out that they were unfed. To those who could not make it to the distribution points, we delivered the food to the homes of the vulnerable. And we made it our business to ensure that those who were shorting, those who couldn't come out, that they had something. As we sought to clear our communities, much was expended under the Cash for Work program. Again, through the allocation of $346,625 under the NEP program. Again, thank you to the minister who is responsible for employment under the NEP program, who ensured that our area was well catered for. And in spite of the fact that our people were broken, physically broken, but they had this resilience, they had this energy still to ensure that this community was cleared and it was clean. It was clean in quick time. Our people were resolved. Our people came together to clean their communities. They helped the vulnerable. And today, Madam Speaker, the effects of Maria has been minimized. There is indeed a rainbow cascading our communities. We are a resilient country, a resilient people, and together we will build back better. We are cognizant of the vision of our leader for this country, creating the first climate resilient country in the world. And as we chart our way forward, we are asking for the understanding of everyone, for the patience of everyone. We will get everyone needing help. This is our resolve. The help may not be with you now, but it's not that we have forgotten you. We are looking at the most vulnerable place. The hurricane season is fast upon us. And Madam Speaker, when Maria came, it did not choose whether you were red, whether you were blue to uncover your house. Everybody went through that period of destruction. And so in this vein, Madam Speaker, we are doing the same thing, not looking at race, color, or creed to ensure that our people are prepared, those that we can cover their houses, that they are covered. We may not be able to build new houses for people. This will take a long time because we may take time building one house, but we may be able to cover 10 houses where people from one house can go and shelter in these 10 houses in case there is a disaster, God forbid. Madam Speaker, we are going through trying times. God is renewing our country. Let us, as a people, place our faith and belief in His word, that He will never leave us nor forsake us. He's giving us a fresh anointing, and that is true. And no weapon formed against this blessed country will prosper. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Madam Speaker, I stand to make some brief observations and comments on the supplementary appropriation 2017, July 2017 to December 2017 before the House. Madam Speaker, in general, I do not believe that there is any major objections to the supplementary appropriation, considering that it is, as a result, most of the spending would be associated with the destruction of Hurricane Maria. However, Madam Speaker, there's a couple important issues that needs to be clarified and resolved with respect to my submission. In the area of tourism, Madam Speaker, we noticed the spend here is 1.57 million, 1.579 million. In the previous supplementary appropriation, the acting Prime Minister, sorry, the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of the new Minister of Agriculture seems to have enjoyed getting personal attacks on myself and my company, Sunrise Farm Cottages, and in the area of tourism. And I think it's only fair that I should be allowed the opportunity to respond. Madam Speaker, let me say that the finances provided to Sunrise Farm Cottages with respect to tourism development
Madam Speaker,
we're not in the, in other words, applications were made.
On a point of order, Madam Speaker. Well, unfortunately, I don't know that part.
Thank you. So, Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker,
he's responding to urban renewal, and that's tourism. It's
the
totally
funds
different.
approved for Sunrise Farm Cottages by the Aid Bank, by the Aid Bank, were properly approved by the Aid Bank, and therefore, if the minister, who is Deputy Prime Minister, comes in here,
the member is responding to a subject matter that came up on a different bill, Madam Speaker. But I'm not sure whether the rules allow him. I'm not sure whether the rules allow him to refer to.
So, Madam Speaker, as I was saying,
a discussion on a previous bill. That's a new bill.
No, Madam Speaker. Yes,
Right.
Exactly right.
Yes, Madam Speaker, I'm discussing, Madam Speaker, I am discussing the heading
just going
tourism,
to explain something to you.
In the supplementary appropriation.
Would you like to know what I'm talking about, or have you concluded that you know?
The spending there.
The member.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
The member.
Yes, Madam Speaker.
There is a rule of the standing orders which says, once a matter has concluded, you may not refer to it again in your new argument of another bill.
Yes, so my current...
One moment, please. I am reminding you of this because it seems to me that this is where you are heading.
Thanks for the reminder, Madam Speaker.
Okay, so I shall be noting what you say and bring it to your attention.
So, Madam Speaker, with respect to tourism, the subject matter of spending in that area where money is allocated to the Aid Bank for tourism development right now since Hurricane Maria, $15-point-something million, where it is access to that money has been a problem because of the terms and conditions, Madam Speaker. I would like to state here, Madam Speaker, the Sunrise Farm Cottages is not accessing these funds.
Madam Speaker, I just on a point of order, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, issues relating to the debate must pertain to the bill at hand, Madam Speaker. Which subject, Madam Speaker, on the bill at hand that speaks to Aid Bank or Sunrise Cottages?
But it's tourism.
Madam Speaker,
it is tourism.
Where are you on the bill, Madam Speaker? I would like to follow you.
Identify.
Okay, so you under a particular head. Ministry of Tourism, this is the one you're under. Okay. Yeah, but hear what it says: to facilitate enhancement of projects in the city of Roseau and other urban areas. Yes, and I'll just tell you that from what I see there, it's referring to facilitate enhancement projects in the city of Roseau and other urban areas. Now, can you stick to that.
Yes, so Madam Speaker, in the context of my presentation on tourism and other related issues,
Yes.
I'm saying that this whole appropriation focuses mainly on spending after Hurricane Maria, post-Hurricane Maria. So
Wait a minute,
most of the areas of spending, public works, cabinet of the Office of the Prime Minister.
So you're not under Ministry of Tourism again?
Yes, I've moved.
Okay, so under what head are you?
So the question about...
Under what head are you now, please?
I am now dealing with the damages of Hurricane Maria, the impact of Hurricane Maria on housing, on buildings in general, Madam Speaker. This is where I am, which deals with the area of communication, public works and all, Madam Speaker, which is the damages of Hurricane Maria, in the impact of Hurricane Maria on the infrastructure and buildings of the country, Madam Speaker. This is what I'm discussing now.
Well, the paper I got
Madam
doesn't
Speaker,
have this
why
one,
is it
though.
that you are so concerned now as to what the headings, etc., yet you find that the last presentation, the minister went to town all over the place, said nothing. Well, this is what I'm getting to. So give me a break. I'm not smiling. No, these are very serious. You don't say things in this house and then expect to smile.
Do you recall that you drew to my attention that members were digressing?
Sorry? No, I didn't.
You didn't do that?
No, I never did.
Oh my goodness.
Never did.
Oh well, maybe.
So I do not see why the minister, the deputy prime minister, is now afraid of me responding to issues right here. Why it is that, Madam
I'll
Speaker.
tell you something though, and sometimes members don't adhere to the rules. They go on a tangent, and when they go on their tangent and the other people come across and then reply, that's when the first start to fly.
Precisely, Madam
Now,
Speaker.
if you're willing to create an avenue for members to expound,
yes,
that is for you to decide.
Yes,
okay?
Madam Speaker. I have no problem with that.
I'm telling you though that I haven't seen anywhere where the argument which you started can fall into.
Madam Speaker, the debate on this, what we are now debating, is the supplementary estimates of appropriation for July 2017 to December 2017, the period which covers the damages of Hurricane Maria.
Yes.
Everywhere. This is the speakers before me, Madam Speaker, covered and discussed all issues about Maria, what assistance were received, how various persons and attended to issues in their community, etc.
Yeah, because there some of it went under. Yes, and every time she spoke, I looked to see what category she was under. When she said about the thing I saw where the items were purchased, and she said about the people getting it. Then she said about the bridges and the different things of the people amounts that had to be paid for rental and so.
So Madam Speaker,
for hurricane relief.
As we continue, if you may allow
yes,
me to continue.
So if
yes.
you are suggesting then that you fall under grants and contribution to international institutions.
I don't fall under anywhere, Madam Speaker.
So you agree that you're not falling under anything?
I'm speaking to I personally don't fall under anywhere.
So that's okay. That's okay. You fall then.
I'm speaking to the issues.
Then when they will reply to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You see, Madam Speaker, this situation where we seem to want to show fear. The minister in concern, Madam Speaker, is now the comedian of the House because he lacks the capacity to respond effectively and soundly and analytically to issues there. So he thinks that by attacking members here personally, especially on this side, then the issues will not be addressed.
I heard attacking personally coming from all sides.
This is not the case.
When a member calls somebody, they see demons in them, how impersonal is that? Yes, but I'm just trying to tell you.
So, Madam Speaker, you see
Madam
Speaker,
it goes?
It is said
and
that
I'm not even debating.
It is said that
so
empty symbols make the most noise.
You on notice.
And this is what we keep getting from this minister concerned, Madam Speaker. Empty barrels. And my grandmother would have said that calabash, empty, big but empty. And this is the problem we face in this house. And I will not go down, given my understanding of issues, to bring this house, Madam Speaker, especially now in this age of international, where you have everything on media, etc., international media, to discuss and say things, Madam Speaker, that will bring into question as to how the international community look towards us in this House, Madam Speaker. In other words, Madam Speaker, I consistently try to avoid being personal and therefore discuss issues. But if certain members of this House lack the capacity to address issues as they are presented, and then they want to be personal, then they should not be. On the agriculture, Madam Speaker, we noticed that the new Minister of Agriculture, that is, we are looking at the $18 million spend, and we are hearing that the new Minister of Agriculture is making statements to the fact that the Agriculture Ministry was previously in a mess. Why is it in a mess? Is it that the former minister could not perform? He is the handler of that particular minister. He is a member of cabinet for years. For years he has been a member of cabinet. Is it that the issues affecting the various ministries are not discussed in cabinet? Now that you have assumed the position of Minister of Agriculture, then you can criticize, make the other previous minister look bad? No, it should not be. That is not should be at all. I'm not coming back. I'm not here to be personal. I'm not coming back. I'm suggesting that when issues are being discussed and presented, let us discuss it in a way that the people and the listeners can understand. And stop being, and we must stop being comedians.
I hope you realize that you were just personal, eh? Okay.
Madam Speaker, in the area of works, public works, Madam Speaker, particularly expenditure towards ports, Madam Speaker, was necessary to undertake the works, but I would like to advise and urge the government that since Hurricane Maria, we have had a lot of quality fill material available to us in the river dredging, etc. Kinfield Airport was not that materially affected by Hurricane Maria, but yet we see that millions of tons of high-quality material are being dumped in that area. Yet, between Massac, Maho, back to Point Michel, we have communities there that are threatened by sea level rise, etc. Why could not some of this quality material be used to reinstate and to provide protection to these communities? So yes, you must do what you're doing, maybe in those areas, but I would like to strongly suggest that the government looks at the belt from Maho back to Loubière and use that high-quality fill material to, for example, reestablishment of the bypass in Marsac. For example, we had the highway between Roseau and Portsmouth being constructed by the Chinese, and we had a problem in determining what road, how we're going to bypass Marsac. The solution has not been solved. Can we look into the possibility? If the only solution is to do coastal, put the road on the coast, and at the same time provide protection for that community, why haven't do that? So these matters. Also, Newtown, during the construction of the water and sanitation project in Roseau, there was a bypass along Newtown. Why can't some of this high-quality fill material to be used to reestablish these roads, Madam Speaker? We must look, if we are trying to build resilience, and at the same time we want to look at the issues, when we have the opportunity in front of us, we must make use of it, and make use of it. And so it is one thing to say it is. I would like to strongly suggest that we do that, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, the other area that's mentioned, I will not spend much time on that because I think Honorable the member for the Salisbury constituency dealt pretty well with it in terms of the $18 million spend on agriculture emergency response, except to say that, Madam Speaker, in the future, when we are faced with a situation where such funds are available, we must be careful as to how we compile data and information. The problem that resolved there, if it was not political interference in the decision-making, had to be collection of data to make sure that the people who deserve the compensation receive it, Madam Speaker. So either one or both of them. But based on the statement being made in the various communities, including my community, where the Minister of Agriculture, and I feel sorry for him sometimes, is also saying, the fact is that, Madam Speaker, a lot of persons who should have received and qualified to receive, but money did not, simply because either the data was not collected properly or there was political interference in the allocation, Madam Speaker. And we must try to avoid this type of situation. It is not good for us. The international community will help providing the help. They are looking at these things, Madam Speaker, and we should try to avoid it. The other point, Madam Speaker, is on the infrastructure. You find there is the allocation of some $13 million to a private company, for road rehabilitation and reconstruction since Mario, which brings into focus Public Works or Public Works Corporation. A Public Works Corporation, if it was functional and it was in effect and working, Madam Speaker, a lot of this money being passed to private sector, the repair work would have been done at a much lower cost. I'm not suggesting that the private sector companies should not be given work, but the fact is that with the demise of the Public Works Corporation, our road maintenance situation has gotten very worse. And if the corporation was in effect and working, I'm certain the conditions of our roads would not be at the way it is right now, Madam Speaker. And I'm suggesting to the new Minister of Communication and Works, review the decision to close down Public Works. Review that decision. Generally, Madam Speaker, with respect to climate resilience development, there are examples and good examples of climate resilience development in this country, and Sunrise Farm Cottages is one of them. Madam Speaker, after Hurricane Maria, connections to utilities at Sunrise Farm Cottages could have been instant because everything is underground. The design of Sunrise Farm Cottages was such that recognizing the location, how it's exposed to the ocean, and the need to allow your guests to enjoy the view. It was designed that the verandas could collapse, and yet the structural frame of the building. So Sunrise Farm Cottages have suffered no structural damage with respect to 9 of 10 cottages. In fact, I'm living in one of them. So with the misconception that Sunrise Farm Cottages suffered major structural damage, it is wrong. It is wrong. It is a perfect small development that one can come in there and recognize within 2 weeks after Hurricane Maria, the water supply system of Sunrise Farm Cottages was in place. It was in place. And finally, Madam Speaker, I would like to state that with respect to Sunrise Farm Cottages, Isaac Baptist owes nobody cannot pay. If money is owed to the aid bank, as the minister seems to suggest, then you have the right to sell the property, dispose of it. I have no problem with that. Isaac Baptist owes nobody cannot pay. So trying to collect private information, Sunrise Farm Cottages suffered because of political interference and victimization. That is what affected Sunrise Farm Cottages. At the opening of Sunrise Farm Cottages was a 5-star by TripAdvisor. And in fact, it took me within almost 2 weeks when the application was made for financing was provided. From the time I came involved in politics, not even $50,000 for marketing was provided. So Isaac Baptist is not for sale. This Isaac is not for sale. This Isaac is not for sale. I did not get into politics for favors. If I wanted to, I would have stayed out there because I could see the trough. I was not interested in the trough, the Labour Party trough. So, Madam Speaker, the point is this, Madam Speaker. I am not for sale. I am not for sale. And I owe nobody I cannot pay. So, Mr. Minister, if you have a problem with responding adequately to measures and observations made with respect to your ministry, you lack the capacity to respond, I suggest that you simply do not respond. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Madam Speaker, I move that this House be adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday.
Seconded, Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable House be adjourned.
Tomorrow, Wednesday.
It has been moved and seconded that this Honorable House be adjourned to tomorrow, Wednesday, 2nd of May at 10 a.m. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. And can members sit until I'm finished, please? We are all in a rush to leave. This Honorable House stands adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, 2nd of May at 10 a.m.